close to the host. El Salvador is a country located in South America that has a steady state economy that has recently introduced Bitcoin as a form of eligible currency. Bitcoin is a decentralized digital economy that is sold and traded around the world. The current value of a single Bitcoin is approximately 60,000 Aussie dollars, and El Salvador is the first country to legislate it as a formal form of payment. Prior to the introduction of Bitcoin, the republic's economic conditions were stable yet not increasing. Since 2005, the GDP growth has only slightly decreased by 0.2%, fundamentally because of the macroeconomic instability of the integration of the American dollar from the colon. The main factor involved was that the introduction of the American dollar saw high levels of inflation without an increase in wages to suffice. Another major catalyst for the plateaued GDP growth is the inequality in the distribution of income, with 3.8% of the population below the poverty line. The unemployment rate has remained relatively unchanged, with various fluctuations around 6.5%. Overall, the economy is stable, yet not responsive to inflationary changes, and with limited implementation of government policies and new currencies, the economy is struggling, seeing a greater increase in poverty and equality gap within the country. Full stop.
There are various reasons why the El Salvador government legalized the use of Bitcoin as a formal currency. The main factor being that the government believes it will stimulate investment within the country for those who cannot access traditional financial services. This number accounts for over 70% of the population, of whom cannot access an ATM or bank. It was also implemented as a way for the El Salvadorian economy to advance forward during times of very limited growth, and the optimism presented by President Nayib Bukele is providing growing support for the change. Currently, the government holds over 550 Bitcoins, accumulating to over 26 million USD. Bitcoin hopefully will also provide a more efficient mechanism for external transfers from the overseas workers who are sending money back home. There will be zero interest charged on those sending money home, which for those reliant upon it is great. This accounts for billions of dollars and is heavily contributing to El Salvador's total GDP of 27 billion. However, the public within the economy heavily favored not introducing Bitcoin, with an extensive poll outlining that 67.9% of people were against the idea of introducing Bitcoin, predominantly because of the naivety towards the currency. Moreover, the Bitcoin serves two main purposes within the El Salvador economy, one being that it is an alternative transfer mechanism, and another being that is a way forward and advancement for an economy of such little growth.
El Salvador is the first country to introduce Bitcoin as a real form of currency, and therefore there is great speculation regarding its success. The government has announced that they themselves are unaware of how the currency will operate and are willing to try various mechanisms and take the risk as they deem it as a positive step into the economy's success. However, many financial experts are concerned with various factors of Bitcoin. One being that it is not a formal or central economy, and therefore its regulation is extremely difficult. There is evidence to suggest that the potential for cybercrime, money laundering, and other illegal activities will increase as the currency is implemented. Cyber currencies have been particularly prone to sharp fluctuations in value, and there is a concern that the money invested by the government and the people will significantly decrease in value, as digital economies are not as stable as formalized ones. There is a risk that assets will lose value, as Bitcoin could see the increase in credit negatives as businesses become more exposed to external price volatility. There is also the worry of the environmental impact digital currencies have. Significant amounts of energy are required to store the data and to exchange currency. Since Bitcoin's opening, the industry has seen an increase of over 60 billion tons of carbon emissions. However, the government has various techniques that are going to be used to limit the environmental footprint. However, it is still a great concern. Ultimately, the decision to introduce Bitcoin as a formal form of currency in El Salvador is one of which is unstable and too recent to formally implement. Particularly within an economy with such low levels of education, most of the population is unaware of how the currency works. It also opens the possibility for increased crime, money laundering, and terrorist actions that may significantly impact the economy and the country's well-being. As well as this, the environmental impact now is still a severe negative externality that needs to be limited prior to implementation. However, that being said, there is a possibility that this works positively, and the El Salvador economy may see the results to hopefully stimulate growth and lower the inequality gap.